Tell you what, I'm always glad when I get out of London. Seems like such a hostile environment with all the parking permits and cutthroat delivery drivers. Takes me about 3 hours to get to London. I've driven about an hour out of it now, and so I finally feel safe again. And right, so while it's fresh, we'll analyse some of the details and I'll give you some of my tips and tricks. So to prove a point, a lot of people asked, how's that old MIG welder doing? The metal inert gas welder, get it right? Yeah, it's doing brilliant. It's been absolutely fine. A year on now, fine. Haven't used it a huge amount, mainly because I've never had the right gas. For those that know and could see, you could have told it wasn't quite right, wasn't quite there. That's because I'm using straight up argon shielding. Most ideally, you want to use well, my preference is a 15% mix. That's 15% carbon dioxide, 2% oxygen, and the rest being argon. And the reason being is that 2% oxygen actually increases the intensity of the arc and creates a much more penetrating weld. So you get more for your electricity, if you see what I mean. And I had it on its max settings, that is max wire, or a little bit off the wire, max amps. If that had been a mixed gas, I think I would have blown through it. Of course, when you use a mixed gas, it's no longer MIG, it's a mag welding device then. So finishes wise, I got it hot dip galvanized. That's when it's dipped in a pool of molten zinc. And what happens is the zinc then alloys to the surface and gives it superior protection. Much better than any paintwork. If you say a really good paint would be about 10-year lifespan, Galv lasts 50 to 100 years. And then all I've done on top is etched it with the T-wash solution, as you saw. And mixing it with water, you kind of get more of that powdery whiteness come out, which is desirable in this case. So I apologise that I didn't film the install. I need an extra set of hands, a cameraman to do that for me. I find the installs just simply too stressful and I'm too particular and just want it done and not have to worry about anything else, especially filming. But yeah, an extra set of hands is what I could have done with. In the end, the client actually leant out the window and just dropped a little nut on it because I couldn't actually hold the thing up and get my hand around the way to get the nuts on. Weighed about 22 kilos and holding that above your head up a ladder isn't the most ideal of situations. A good bit of advice in preparing though. I've got a block of wood, cut it the exact width of the canopy, and the fixing holes I pre-drilled through the wood, and then that became my template to then drill the holes into the brickwork. And then I used a chemical resin, a polyester resin, like this one, for example. It's 2-pack. It mixes in the nozzle. It sets in about 10 minutes, depending on the temperature, and just some threaded studs to go with that. So someone might have a question of why didn't I have the sheet steel and the framework together permanently while I got it hot dip galvanized. And that's because in molten zinc it's obviously really hot. I wanted to prevent any warping from happening, or if it wanted to move, it could move freely separately. And then it's just a case of putting it together after. But Gal's brilliant at getting in all the nooks and crannies. I mean, it would look really nice riveted, and it probably would have been fine riveted and then hot dip galvanized. But I thought I'd play it safe. I did also think if I had it in 2 separate parts, it might make the install easier. Clients are really happy though. She even said that I was too cheap, which I find very interesting, because even though I'm making more wage per hour than I would have been working a normal job, but the main point there is the value of your product is relative, and something's only worth what someone is prepared to pay. You could make the best craftsmanship ever, doesn't necessarily mean anyone's going to buy it, and you could make shockingly awful stuff and sell it for a huge amount of money just because people. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this matter, and if there's anything else I can touch upon or give more insight into, then let me know in the comments. All your questions, I'll either put it into another Q&A video or I'll answer it in the comment section. But I hope that's helpful, and in the meantime, happy forging a life worth living. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.